Yeah, no, it's okay. It happens sometime. Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Swati Chakraborty. I'm founder and platform moderator for Web Platform for Dialogue. Web Platform for Dialogue is a program that has been launched with the support from KaiSeed. KaiSeed is a wonderful organization based in Vienna. KaiSeed is an intergovernmental organization. Their main role is to create safe space for each and every religious beliefs, each and every cultural orientations from all over the world. As a KaiSeed fellow from India, I have selected in 2017, and from that time onwards, my journey as a KaiSeed fellow, dialogue practitioners have been started. Before that, I was human rights researcher from University of Calcutta with UGC fellowship, and I completed my PhD, and now I am assistant professor for human rights and women's studies for Team Lee's EduServe. This is an online platform who are providing support to the online education system, particularly the open universities in India and abroad. Apart from that, I am freelancer to doing the research in the field of human rights, women's studies, and peace education. So that's my introduction as a person. I'm very much fond to collaborate different types of people from all over the world who are with similar mentality and similar wavelength. And with my journey as a KaiSeed fellow, I came to know so many wonderful person in this world. And I came to know about Dr. Zaka, and he is from Nigeria, and he is working in the field of theology, Christian perspective, also associated deeply with the humanitarian aspects, because that is very important. Whenever we are talking about any religious beliefs, any cultural beliefs, the main thing which is connected with each other, that is the humanitarian aspects. That is a human touch that we are having. That's how we are connected with each other, and that is the reason we are here to discuss about different perspective and how today's world is being diverse but somehow connected. Till now, humanity is being here, but with the humanitarian aspects, we have lots of negativity. Negativity regarding the attack of sacred and religious sites, sacred and religious books. They are being the center of the attraction to some extent. It is been relevant in nowadays, and that is why we need to discuss very deep rooted what are the causes behind this kind of attacks, this kind of vandalisms that we are talking about. So let's not waste our time and let's enter into today's topic. And that is very important to address, that how the sacred sites, religious sites are also not only the sacred and religious sites, but how much they are very close to each and everybody's traditions. Reverend Dr. Zaka is presently a lecturer and acting head of Public Theology, Department of prestigious Theological College in Northern Nigeria, Bukuru, Jos, Plateau State. He is an CEO of Zaka Foundation for Promotion of Peace and Dialogue. He is presently the chaplain of College of Health Technology, Zawan, and the minister in charge of the Emmanuel Assembly in the United Missionary Church of Africa, all in the Jos Plateau State. He has been tremendously associated with academic as well as with a theological perspective. And he is KaiSeed fellow also. He is been associated with KaiSeed from 2016 onwards. He is already published so many journals and articles also in his own credit. And today's particular topic is very, very close to my heart. And that is related with the perspective of Christian theology, but how it is been related to religion. So religion as a tool for protection of holy sites, countering hate speeches, peace building, and youth development in Nigeria, Christian perspective. That is our today's webinar topic. Very important to address because currently in India also we can able to see lots of attacks on the minority people, on the other people, quote unquote other. That's what I thought, that it is very important to learn something from the abroad, that how apart from Indian perspective, how the Nigerian perspective is been talking and sharing about their feelings and thoughts. Now I'm opening the forum to Reverend Zaka, and after your presentation, we'll have a question answer sessions from our participants. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, my sister, Dr. Swati Chakraborty, and Ms. Stella Francis, for this opportunity to share with all our participants who are present with us. I also want to use this opportunity to thank Kaisid for what she has been doing, at least for bringing us together for the trainings and for the platform. May God continue to bless Kaisid and give us peace all over the world. Religion is actually an issue of faith, an avenue to access the spiritual, the supreme being, and is expected to be a unifying factor in every society because man is created as a religious being. Unfortunately, the world over, religion has become the cause of unrest and affects peaceful coexistence, and has also further divided this once peaceful and united nation, leading to many calling for secession of the country and even the breakup of this great nation, Nigeria. In northern Nigeria, which is actually the focus of this paper, not only has religion been the cause of crisis, violence, maiming, destruction of holy sites, killings, and destruction of property worth billions of naira, leading to underdevelopment, religion has also remained the breeding ground for hatred, jealousy, unforgiveness, reprisal attacks through hate speeches, and has impacted negatively in this region of peace, turning it to the land of blood and fear. More so, the youth who are supposed to be a blessing to every society and the future of each nation are mainly the victims and objects of these dastard acts. One finds these youths, male and female, turned to drug addicts, prostitutes, sex slaves, stooges for political violence, and they are being dragged into robbery, banditry, kidnappings, just to mention a few. These youths expectation for themselves and even their parents and the society and God, their creator, also destinies. Many are lost in all forms of atrocities, all in the name of defending or fighting for their religion. More so, religious sites tend to be the targets of such violent acts, leading to reprisal attacks and further violent extremism. One then tends to ask, is religion a blessing or a curse to our society? Can religion motivate people towards peaceful coexistence or towards war and violence? Has religion contributed in youth knowing their place in the society, or it has led to the destruction of values and virtues that breeds unity, development, and youth relevance in the society? These and more questions will be addressed in this paper. Therefore, the aim of this paper is to highlight the role of religion in the development of the youth and shaping them towards peaceful coexistence and development of our society. This paper has 5 main objectives: to find out the role of religion in shaping the lives of the youths and how religion has failed in carrying out such roles; to discover ways in which the youths have derailed in their religious injunctions, since all religions preach peace; to discover reasons for an effect of destruction of holy sites during crisis or as a result of crisis; and then to find out the prospect, the present situation in religion and youth attitudes posed to the society, which will be culminated and will be rounded up with the recommendation. Actually, the paper is a qualitative and historical work used to address the topic under discourse. The structure of the paper has 5 main sections according to the objectives. And the keywords: religion, youth, peace, development, hate speech, and holy sites. Now, I just want to feel what is actually religion. Now, there are so many ways people have tried to define religion, but I want to put it this way. that religion is both an institutional and a personal affair as it relates with the supreme being or its object of worship, based on revelation, formulated doctrines, traditions handed over to him or her, heredity, culture, region, or background. Today, there are many belief systems that are metamorphosed into various religions, with each religious group holding tenaciously to what they believe, even to death. As a spiritual exercise, it strikes fear of hurting the object of worship, and all beliefs it has internal consequences. What I'm trying to say here is this. Many people found themselves into certain religions maybe by hereditary, or they found themselves by a divine revelation. And so many people now are free to practice the religion in which they find themselves or agree to subscribe to. A youth by this paper is defined as a person who is between the ages of 15 to 45. Well, there are so many take on that. Some people feel it could be from 18 and what have you. Some people feel it's from the age of accountability. But for this paper, I just tag it at from between the ages of 14 and 55. Now, I want to go to what is holy site. Every religion has a designated place set aside to approach a supreme being or object of worship called by different names. This is called a holy site. It can also be a place where people of different religions bury their loved ones. These places are most times given sort of equal status and held in high esteem by all, irrespective of their religion. So they can do anything to protect these places or do anything against anyone who abuses these places. One can see the kind of reverence given to such places when visited with flowers and solemnity. You know, when people go to the place of worship, it could be a church, a mosque, a temple, a shrine. There's a kind of reverence people enter there such places with. And it's also the same thing with graveyards or with cemeteries. People, because there's a kind of a belief that there is a link between the living and the dead, sort of. So with that, there's a serious reference given to those two major sites, which is places of worship and places where the dead are buried. Serious interreligious conflict, often instigated by hate speeches and inciting messages accompanied by destruction of holy sites, is becoming the order of the day in this enclave, which is northern Nigeria. The youth undoubtedly are the future and hope of any serious-minded society. The significance of their well-being, therefore, through effective mentoring and guidance towards making them relevant and being able to contribute positively for a better future, can never be overemphasized. However, recent trends of drug abuse, armed banditry, thuggery, high level of juvenile delinquency is worrisome among the youths in this part of this nation. Most of these youths go about openly with weapons in the towns and the cities, attacking people at the slightest provocation, at the slightest rumor, at the slightest inciting message, at the slightest opportunity. These youths now will go into the streets, and the most worrying and annoying thing is the targets have usually been human beings, innocent human beings, places of worship and holy sites, and even shops, destroying properties, government properties, and personal properties worth billions and millions of naira. Then what has religion come to do? As religious, as I said in my introduction, I got so worried. Is religion a blessing or a curse? The truth of the whole matter is the fact can never be denied that the role of religion or its advent to any society do bring about civilization, development, advancement, general well-being of the inhabitants of any region that allows religion to penetrate. Religion is the catalyst for nation transformation and cultural development. Religion brings about social change, reforms, and settles deviant, stimulates healthy social habits, and check antisocial behaviors. Religion provides emotional security, spiritual and material support, codes of conduct that support economic and political growth. Religion is a social glue that holds every society together. It organizes the society into a community of interest, fosters solidarity and friendships, contributes to the maintenance of social stability, societal stability, which breeds development and ensures its continuity. Religion is an avenue by which a human connects with the supreme being, with his creator. And religion is an avenue by which human beings are indoctrinated. They are taught, they are equipped with the fear of the hereafter, and they are also being prepared for the hereafter. It is by religion or through religion that human beings, that young men or young women, are young, even adults, are actually acquainted with the need to live peaceably with one another. Because it is through religion we're able to know our common descent, that all of us descend from we came from the same ancestor. We're all human beings having the same kind of blood flowing into us in spite of our colors. But then, these are some of the blessings of religion. Unfortunately, religion now seems to be promoting violence in the Nigerian society. There's no disputing that the fact that problem of religious violence casts a serious doubt to the stability of every nation. Now, I'm using Nigeria as a case study, and if every region can use the materials presented in this paper to assist them in addressing this particular thing, because as I said, the focus is on the youth, who are supposed to be the future of each nation, each generation, each people, each religion. They are the ones that are the targets and that the people that are being used at this particular time to cause conflict. And by so doing, a lot of them are dead. A lot of them now have become useless to the society, maybe because of drug addiction. Some of them are in prisons, some of them are dead, some of them now are in hideouts, and some of them have been brought into terrorism and what have you. And it is all in the name of religion. And I think I will discuss further that. But then how has religion now been promoting violence in the Nigerian society? One of it is misunderstanding or misinterpretation of the Holy Writs. Now, you see, each religion has a number of literatures held especially sacred and which contain historical materials with which the validity of the doctrine is connected. However, often owing to lack of in-depth understanding, outright ignorance, misinterpretation, or sheer mischief, scriptural texts have been given whimsical and capricious interpretations towards predetermined ends. And most of the people who do this are either people who have turned religion into a kind of a business venture, maybe, or half-baked theologians, or people who are mischievous, who are just using religion as a covering to defend their evil acts. The end result of these conflicts result to a large scale of physical displacement and forced relocation of individuals, families, and groups. Number two, the abuse of religion also is a threat to all people. For instance, there is the so-called extremism, which poses a threat to the whole world. The Christian, like now we say that the Islamic extremists, wider Jewish and also Christian crusades, and so on and so forth. All religions now have been tagged as that. So even in Christianity, which is the target, which is the focus of this paper, we find that there are so many preachers who abuse religion. So many people go outside the scriptures or forcing the scriptures to speak what the scripture did not intend. A kind of squeeze, forcing the scriptures to speak their minds or to defend their evil. Some people also, as I said earlier, camouflage under religion. You see, I found that one common thing in this nation or this part of this nation is that anytime a person is affected, or maybe somebody does anything wrong and he feels he's going to be persecuted or he's going to be arrested, he's going to be prosecuted, the next thing is he quickly hides it under his religion and says, oh, come on, because I'm a Christian, so that is why I am being attacked. And anytime the issue of religion is mentioned in this part of the country, it becomes a very volatile thing. And so people hide under religion to cover their ills, and then to get support at every point in time, either politically or otherwise. Now, the other point is the misuse of religion. Some people use religion to cover ethnic unrest. I found out the truth that some of the crises that are called religious crises in this nation and other parts of the world are actually ethnic crises or ethnic unrest. But you see, one thing is, when in Nigeria, I'm a northerner, and if I have misunderstanding with a southerner or an easterner who happens to be a Christian, it becomes a religious crisis. Now, by my dressing, anybody sees me who has, oh, this guy is a Muslim, but I'm a Christian. So, but if I now wear this attire, comes to have a misunderstanding with somebody wearing trousers and a shirt, it becomes a kind of a religious crisis, which is not true. It's actually a misuse of religion. Religion also has a reason for all-round discrimination. It is sad that today in most parts of northern Nigeria, merit seems not to pay. As one rises to position of authority, not based on his or her qualification in most times or ability to do the job, but based on his or her religious affiliation. These are crises, these are things that begin to cause more problem in this nation. I find that, and this again, religion is not being used as a vehicle for disunity. Now, people are being classified according to their religion. You are a Christian, I'm a Muslim. Even in Christianity, we also have, no, I am Orthodox, no, I am evangelical, no, I am Catholics, and so on. So religion has become a kind of a vehicle for disunity in this nation. Then how again has religion caused problem? Hate speech. The major area religion is used to create crisis is hate speech from religious leaders. Young people who are zealous are usually motivated into violence. Most of these youths are ardent adherents of their religions and have high regard for their religious clerics, whom they see as representative of the supreme being. Such that when such people, when such preachers preach, because hate speech can either be verbal or it can also be in the body language. And these youths are very sensitive. Whenever they sense any move from their religious leader, they go out there and then to defend the religion or defend the leader. Some preachers, particularly the ignorant, half-baked or overzealous ones, tend to use inciting messages on their podiums, particularly in times of crisis, to fuel the circle of violence and reprisal attacks. It is sad that the media is also awash with such speeches across the globe and in different languages. Another very important aspect where religion is also being used to cause crisis is in the destruction of holy sites. As I said earlier, holy sites are either places of worship or burial grounds or any designated place people set aside to worship the supreme being. Such places are usually treated as sacred places, and so most times, particularly during crisis in Nigeria, fanatics target such places, which is not only expensive to rebuild, but it creates enmity and stirs spirit of vengeance, leading to reprisal attack. Of course, if I destroy anybody's place, holy site, the person will also want to destroy mine. And if it is done in this part of the country, the other side will also pick it. So it begins to increase cycle of violence, reprisal attacks, and so on and so forth. My take is this: religion is supposed to be a unifying factor, a way to assess the creator and the major solution to these ills as believed by all people of faith. It's also, unfortunately, it seems to be the bane of peaceful coexistence all over the world. We are today full of hatred, suspicion, and what have you. Peace has remained the panacea for development and well-being for humanity, which is not only the goal of the United Nations, but the root, mandate, and belief of every religion. World peace is possible if the variables for and against peace are looked into and addressed by those saddled with the responsibility of doing so. The youth and the challenge of religious violence. Just as I said, the youth is actually the focus of this paper from the Christian perspective. The problem facing our society, especially moral decadence that has produced youths that are delinquent, is the collective responsibility between the religious leaders on one side and the elite and the government on the other side. Undoubtedly, the youths are the future of any society. Their security and well-being should therefore be of paramount importance to any serious-minded and focused leadership. Now, what one needs to know, what are the factors responsible for the involvement of youth in this dastard act bedeviling our nation? One is redundancy and laziness among the youth. Truth of the whole matter is, while we are struggling and asking for people to work, we discovered that there are many youths who are redundant and lack ability or willingness to be effective. The fact is that most of them are lazy and they want easy life. Everybody wants opportunity, wants a white collar job, wants a situation where you become on top. However, most of them are not willing to pay the price. And so any easy way, they now click into it. Secondly, the rise in production and availability of hard drugs in the society. The rate at which dangerous substances are produced by pharmaceutical companies and are made available to the youth is another very serious problem. So when the youth have access to all of this, it affects the way they think. Number three, dynamics of crime rates, especially armed banditry. It appears as if this is one of the fastest ways to make it. Kidnappings and what have you, people kidnap and they make money. Easy money without much stress. General lack of mentorship and role modeling for the youth. In this country, you find that there are so many leaders. However, how many of them have actually drawn these youth to mentor them? They rather want to use them as political stooges, as political talks to fight their enemies. Religious fundamentalism portrayed in hate speeches is also another factor that affects the youth. Role of the social media. This is another great challenge that do fuel crisis in this nation among the youths. We also have peer pressure, where they begin to get involved with friends who actually may not teach them the good habits. We also have stigmatization and negative perception of the society against some youth. The truth of the whole matter is everybody, as we are rising, as we are growing, there's a tendency, there's a possibility for you to misbehave. The society we live in today is a society that hardly forgives a person. Even when somebody repents and comes back, the society will always want to stigmatize such a person. So while the society and the parents or religious leaders or institutions are sending away such people, the world, which is full of evil, will always have its arms open to welcome such people. And so they become deeply involved in such crises. Negative parenthood is another very serious factor. Imagine fact indicates that most of the youth that are from broken homes are actually end up as victims or as bandits, as terrorists, as bad youths. So the life the parents live, the children learn from there. The divorce homes also has affect the youth because the children are usually the victims during such crisis whenever there is divorce. We have patronage by members of the political class who always want to use these young people as stooges. Then how can we counter these challenges of hate speech and then be able to protect holy sites for national development? The following are potent proactive measures this paper believes, if considered, will help significantly to reduce or combat the menace of religious extremism and youth involvement in crimes in the society, thereby enhancing meaningful development and peaceful be used to address this crisis of destruction of holy sites, hate speeches, and which I kind of to meaningful development and bring up the youth to the standard and level at which God wants them to be, and they will also be able to lead this nation in the future. So I divide this section into three: the role of the government, the role of religious leaders, into four: role of the government, role of religious leaders, role of parents, and even the role of the youths. One, the role of the government. The government, I have to rush this because of our time. There should be kind of advocacy, there should be kind of seminars, there should be kind of workshops, there should be kind of roundtable where the government will bring in religious leaders, traditional institutions, security operatives, members of the academia, and all stakeholders on the table to look at this crisis because it is still rising. And there's also need to take stock or statistics of the target group. The government needs to come up with a plan to find out from all wards, the local government to the state, to know the number of youths harmed and how the government can be able to come in to help them. Government needs to partner with youth leaders and youth organizations. The government needs to partner with NGOs, CSOs, and other stakeholders like I see, to be able to see how we can assist the youth, just as we are doing now on this platform. It's a very good opportunity and initiative from KAISEED. If government can partner with KAISEED and other NGOs or donor agencies, they can be able to carry out campaign and see how these youths can be supported, even empowered. There needs to be also drastic measures should be taken to cut the supply of drugs and narcotics and hard narcotics, engage and regulate the media for effective and public mobilization against hate speech and religious or ethnic violence and juvenile delinquencies. Then also the government need to work out modality to empower the youth by creation of jobs and economic opportunity, setting aside special days to recognize the youth. One of the big things that we've looked at from the Christian perspective today is, if you look at this program called BB Nigeria, Big Brother Nigeria, and what have you, we are guys, we are young people, you know, are out there publicly messing up themselves. But at the end of the day, when the person emerges, the country will celebrate, everybody will begin to celebrate it. Whereas there are other young people who are laboring academically and otherwise, yet without any recognition. And when people grow to discover that, look, as if honesty does not pay, then there is no need, they will not go on to be honest. They also want to be dubious. A role of religious leaders, which is a major focus here, because the religious leaders are the ones who are in charge with the issue of religion and the sacred books. And they are also really organizations and by all human beings. And not only that, every youth, every human being belongs to one religion, or they have respect for religion. Therefore, leaders are also needed here to carry out this great assignment of seeing how the youth can be rescued, and their hate speeches and destruction of holy site will cease. How will they do that? Number one, unity among these religious leaders. We feel that not only, see, when I'm talking about religious leaders, I want to now put it on both sides, from all angles, addressing the Christian religious leaders and religious leaders of all other organizations. When the youth sees that these religious leaders are united together and work together, exchanging exchanging pleasantries, during festivities and what have you, it will bring the youth together. But if the religious leaders are apart, the youth will hardly come together. Preaching and teaching on peaceful coexistence. If you look at the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation, in fact, Jesus is called the Prince of Peace. Whenever you look at the concept of peace, God himself is the author of peace. Decided to, even when man left God, God came looking for man and tried to restore man. So every Christian preacher who tends to preach against peace, who is on hate speech, excuse me, is not preaching the gospel. He is representing God. Therefore, there is serious need for preaching and teaching on peaceful coexistence by every religious leader. Not only that, exemplary living is important. They should seek for peace and interfaith dialogue, eschew hate speech, and avoid extreme perception. Not only should we be talking about it, but we should also exemplify it. At times when religious leaders come, they say, no, let there be peace, let there be peace. But when they go behind, they instigate crisis, they instigate violence. They need to work in collaboration with the government and all relevant stakeholders to address some of these issues, regulate against hate speeches or preachers. I'm also thinking that the religious organizations can begin to work out, set a kind of a board that will regulate such activities. Every leader comes from a particular religion. Therefore, each religion and religious leader should inculcate the fear of God, accountability, and the fact that leadership is the higher calling. So let's teach all our leaders, political leaders, and what have you, the need for peaceful coexistence. And finally, there should be adequate teaching on the word of God. The one thing I've come to observe that is affecting the young people is they don't understand the scriptures. In every religion, when you see them acting weirdly, you see them acting wrongly, it's because they don't know what their holy books are saying. Now, the role of the parents, as I begin to round up quickly. Now, the home front is the most crucial place for leadership training and godly virtues to be inculcated in the children and, of course, the future leaders. It is the place for molding godly leaders and youth who will champion national development. In the past, when a child misbehaves, he brings disrepute not only to the immediate family, but to the extended family and the community at large. And so all are involved in the training and discipline of an erring child. But today, these virtues and training seems to be have eluded our society. And so everybody is on his own. You don't touch my child, I don't touch your child. Everybody, and when a child misbehaves, nobody talk about it. However, they feel the family is the main front where this thing should be addressed. Therefore, there is need for us to go back to this communal life of raising godly children who will represent us all over the world. Parents, guidance, and communities should take extra efforts in monitoring the behaviors, attitudes of their children, and always ensure that they find out the type of company their children keep. They should, as much as possible, I'm talking about the parents now, regulate how they overpamper or treat their children or worse. There should be continuous guidance and counseling to those affected in order to assist them abandon their negative habits. Parents should live exemplary lives also for their children to emulate. The youth should be encouraged and allowed to struggle and know the value of life and living. In the past, I remember when in my primary school, I struggled myself. I went for my common entrance. I studied for my exams, even in secondary school, my JAMB and what have you. Today is not the same. Even somebody in the university, the parents will be wanting them up and down. So these students grow to discover that there is no need for them to do anything for themselves. So it should be corrected. Parents should try to understand the reality of the problem at hand, admit the fact that it is a threat to the future of our youth, and do all within their reach to solve this problem. The role of the youth. One, the youth have to change their behaviors. Because they need to know that, look, there should be a kind of a deliberate effort, desire from them that I want to become somebody. They should be involved in extracurricular activities, that is, put themselves in a situation where they are open to learning and activities. Learn a new language, attend a religious or cultural festival, ask a friend from another cultural group if you can tag along to an event. Observe religious knowledge, change your circle of influence when necessary. If you have bad friends, change them for good ones, and then avoid reprisal attacks, because it only makes you the same as the wicked ones. It makes you a criminal, set you against God, makes you guilty of murder. It obstructs peace and continues the cycle of violence. It is a proof of unforgiveness. It is a target at the wrong and innocent people. It sets you against man and God. It amounts to taking laws into your hands, and it renders people widows and orphans and so on. So I conclude with this recommendation. The present situation of youth involvement in all kinds of crime and other vices in this region of our country does not mean well for a nation like Nigeria. Therefore, this paper gives the following recommendations. One, government and relevant stakeholders should work together to control the spread of uncensored videos and messages in all the social media, preach against reprisal attacks, religious violence, and destruction of holy sites, empower youths to be productive agents of the society, adopt the above ideas in this work, and let it be a kind of a working material, working tool for both the government, the religious institutions, the youth, and the parents. The youth also need to know their worth and strive to achieve them. Consider the above presentation as I conclude as a wake-up call on the dangers of crisis on the future of our youth. Let's all make a collective resolve to partner with the government and other relevant stakeholders to make the best use of this enlightenment forum in order to develop a common strategy towards a secure future of our youths. Our youth must be engaged, encouraged at all costs to avoid these menaces. The world is moving very fast. It is very sad and unfortunate. While other societies are busy planning and strategizing by positioning their youth for leadership, making them captains of industries, developing world-class entrepreneurs and educationists out of them, we in northern Nigeria are deeply in slumber, battling with religious, ethnic, political crises, and so on. Let us avoid any strategic mistake that will jeopardize our dream for a better future for our youth before it is too late. Let our dreams for a greater and better tomorrow for our youth begin today. Nigeria is blessed with so many valuable human and natural resources. If peace is restored, there will be development all around. And peace will only be restored by friendship, community spirit, and unity. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless you.
A wonderful speech. Now we have our actual moderator for today's session, Ms. Stella Francis. She's my partner in this particular project that we have started together to motivate youth. So now I'm handing over the session to Stella.
Thank you very much, Swati. Good evening. And good afternoon. thank you so much, Doctor. That was a mention of Holy Site. Yeah, I would like to recognize the CEO and the CEO of Ultimate Peace Talk. He's present here. Thank you for your support. He has been supporting us all the way from the online and from the offline now to the online. Thank you very much, Mr. Prof. So without wasting much of our time, I think we should make this interactive. I can see we have a couple of Indian youths, and maybe they have questions for Doctor. I don't want to waste too much time talking. I would like us to, if you have questions or answers, you put it in the chat box. Doctor have said a lot. He has divided the talk into 4 aspects. He talked about the role of government. He talks about the role of youth, the role of religious leaders, and the role of parents. Yeah, because parenting also has a huge role to play in the formation of the youth. Because if they don't bring up the youth in the fear of God, the youths are bound to derail from what is normal, because there are a lot of things that the youth are engaging themselves in the area of drug abuse, human trafficking. All those are components that lead to poverty. He also talked about empowerment. Empowerment is very key, because if the youths are gainful, don't have time to engage in other extracurriculum activities, like engaging in hard drugs and alcohol and so forth. So yeah, I would like us to put a question, and if anybody has comments, please feel free to unmute yourself, and or you can use the raise your hand button so we can identify you, and then you make either your contribution or you ask your question. Thank you. Anybody for question? Okay, Doctor, I have a question for you. While every other person is thinking about their question, I would like to ask.
Welcome.
So how do you think the NGOs can partner with government? Because I know that before you can reach out to the government here in Nigeria, it's a big deal. So how do you think that NGOs can make their way to partner with the Nigerian government?
Yeah, now this is what we're saying. You first ask, who is the government? But the life you live, the relationship you create, creates room for you. It's unfortunate that most times NGOs abuse opportunities given to them. I remember I had opportunity to go out and during this to visit IDPs camps, IDP camps, and so on. You hear what they say. They say, people are just coming to make noise, just to use our pictures to make money. If NGOs actually play their roles as individuals, it will make peace. Not only that, you cannot just talking about, I cannot just move now. I want to see Buhari, the president of this nation. There are avenues. I go straight to see the local government chairman, or the local government, or the councillor, the local government chairman, and gradually it will go up. Not only that, opportunities like this, messages like this, be typed, will be sent to social media, and I know it will definitely get to the government.
Thank you very much. Basically, Doctor is trying to tell us that we need to follow procedure, and then we don't have to jump the protocol if we want to engage the government. We don't have to engage the government at the top. We have to start from the grassroots level. Thank you very much, Doctor, for that insight. If any other person have question, would like to take questions or comments, you can put it in the chat box. You can unmute yourself to speak to us.
I have a question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, please, Swati.
Yeah, actually,
I can hear you.
It's not a question, it's kind of an observation that I found the similarity with the Indian perspective to Nigerian perspective, that there is a massive massive misunderstanding among the youth that have been actually nurtured from their home. So I'm really, really thankful to Dr. Zaka for your insights that parents, that they have a massive role to create force, because they are the first teacher for any youth. So it's very important for the parents to create that much of identity for themselves, because self-identity as well as the identity of the society. Because when in India, like a pluralism, we are talking about the concept of pluralism or the concept of diversity is not being taught properly for their own own children at starting from the very early age. So that's very, very similar things. I think it's same with the Nigerian perspective also. If we start from a very early age, I think that would be create immense changes into the society.
Thank you very much, Swati. Yeah, I agree with you that parenting is also part of teaching. Oftentimes, parents allow teachers. You want to speak?
Say again.
From parent.
What is wrong?
Okay.
Hello, what is wrong? Not hearing you.
Yes,
I didn't hear you. Sorry, did you say anything?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I thought you want to respond to what Swati was talking about parenting.
Yeah, it's truly, honestly, it's a very serious challenge we have today. When I was growing in Nigeria, the situation is not like that. We believe the society is for all of us. But as I see the children who are growing today grow to believe as if they are the only ones who are supposed to live in the society. So every other person is either an intruder or a stranger. And so as an intruder or a stranger, you are to be cast out of the society. So I think the very, very serious point I've also noted, and I will expatiate more on it in my paper even in the future. Thank you for that, Dr. Swati.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Zaka. And at this point, there are no questions in the chat box and there is no one raising their hands. It means that Dr. Zaka have done justice to this topic and we all understand what he's saying, and then we will go back and replicate it in our various places of work, our homes, and within our friends. Thank you so much. I would like to hand over to Dr. Swati.
Yeah. One, I think Mahima Rai, Dr. Mahima would like to ask something, or would you like to express some of the thoughts from India? Okay. She is from Sikkim.
Yes.
Please.
Hello, everyone. Reverend Professor Zaka, it was really very insight. Like it was very good to understand Nigerian perspective. It's just a query. I just want to have a query that we know that religion is the one of the bridge that is helping in building peace in every nation and also in India. And like where does, like, because we are in the phase of globalization process and we have seen the impact of globalization, and the biggest case was 9/11, how the xenophobic was being created after 9/11 attack. So in Nigeria, where does this religion stand in place of globalization? Where does religion is as compared to globalization? Because we have different perspectives, especially the youths have different perspective of religion as compared to the elderly or the other people. So, is there what is the stand of religion in place of globalization? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Professor. The fact is this: globalization cannot be dissociated from religion. Religion or globalization actually keep as a result of advancement of human knowledge. As humans begin to graduate, begin to grow and relate better with God, God gives man more insight. So globalization tallies or works with religion. It complements religion. It's just that the unfortunate thing is most times we use the other against the other. It's just like a pen. A pen is made just for you to write, to send messages. However, a pen can also be used as a weapon. So it's an abuse of the pen. So it's an abuse of globalization in the name of religion. That is cause issue of September 11, all other crises. Anything that affects human life. The truth of the whole matter is everything that affects human life is anti-God. It does not bring glory to God. God gives us opportunity to eat. What you eat can become a poison to you. You can depend on how you use it. So it's the truth of the whole matter. Anybody using globalization as a tool to create harm or to cause harm is doing that at his own detriment. And the fact is this: religion makes us understand that we will stand before God to give account of whatever you do, particularly when you maltreat your fellow human being. So if anybody using globalization issue of advancement, technological advancement to cause harm, is doing that at his own detriment, not because it's defending his religion. He may use the name of religion, but that is not true.
Okay, thank you,
I don't know what I've
Professor.
said something.
Yes, it was quite. I remember when one of our professors, we have this paper, religion, conflict, and peace building, in my department. So one professor, he was telling us that when faith answers, when reason answers, faith answers. So, when religion fails, when reason fails, faith answers. So it's a kind of connection between how religion and globalization is playing a bigger part in our life. So thank you, Professor, for this.
Thank you so much for that too.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us that Indian perspective. We have learned a lot from the Indian perspective, and then with the globalization too. So, and then thank you, Doctor, for letting us know that globalization is not an excuse for hate speech or for any form of disrespect to religion or any kind of, even to the law. Thank you so much for that wonderful insight. Dr. Swati, I think you should tell us what next. Oh, there's a question in the chat box. I didn't know.
No, it's a kind of a congratulations to the team. So thank you so much, all of you. First of all, thank you so much, Stella, to be on me as your partner.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my guest, my eminent speaker, Dr. Zaka, for accepting our invitation, because it's a kind of a very long conversation that we had. So finally, we can able to do that. So congratulations. I'm really, really thankful to Mr. Professor, who is also joined from Nigeria. Thank you. And with your support, we could able to do our offline program. And now we are executing our online program. Thank you so much to all the participants. Some of them have already left. So, but who are here, thank you so much, Dr. Mahima, who just joined and joining from the beginning. Thank you, Anushka. She's a student from Loreto College, Kolkata. A very, very young person from Kolkata, from Indian perspective. So thank you, all of you, and have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful evening all together.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much. But then Dr. Swati, I just want to let you know that Mr. Prof is joining from Istanbul, not from Nigeria.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. They're from a different side altogether from Istanbul. Wow.
Correct.
From Turkey.
Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, thank you so much.
Right, thank you for the
Despite
opportunity.
times, okay.
Yeah,